Mother. We're going to read from your husband's and your book. This is chapter 9 in your section. It's on our 3 missionary kids from 1965 to 1975. Those are the years we were in Singapore. First of all, David Allen. Naomi Zalabuk, David's teacher, needed to locate a larger desk so she could accommodate her newest and tallest 8th grader. He and 6 others graduated from the elementary school after the first year. Don, away on business, still regrets missing out on this important milestone in his son's life. David enjoyed attending Far Eastern Academy. He studied hard and did well in his classes. I remember the first time he invited a girl for a yearly banquet. The mothers congregated on the upper road above the academy compound to watch the fellows come down the steps from the girls' dorm, each with a lovely maiden on his arm. We didn't cause any embarrassment at all. The young people seemed to enjoy the attention. Music played an important role in the lives of Far Eastern Academy students. David studied clarinet, and he joined the Academy band. They gave concerts in the park at the McRitchie Reservoir and in local churches, and also took a yearly concert tour in the school bus to neighboring countries. David worked one summer in the graphic arts department at the Malaysian Science Press. Although he would have been willing to pay them, they surprised him with a small wage that he saved to help buy a Nikon camera. He enjoyed photography, learned to develop and print his own pictures, and served as business manager of the Choral Cadence School yearbook in his senior year. School? Far Eastern Academy. There's a picture of David. He worked some on the Far Eastern Academy ground crew, delivered mail in the division office, and helped his father with work in the division secretariat. When Academy graduation came for him in 1970, he could hardly wait to leave Singapore to try his wings. He didn't fly too high, though, for while washing windows at Pacific Union College, before starting his freshman year, he fell and broke an arm. Thoughts of home no doubt entered his mind during this time of recuperation. This is David, and this is when he left Singapore. We had corresponded often, and I remember one very long and expensive telephone call between Don in the Philippines and David at Pacific Union College. His big news in January of 1974 concerned his engagement to Kathy Ann Curtis, whom he had known for a few years at PUC. I left Singapore in late March so I could spend time with David and Diane and attend my parents' 50th wedding anniversary in mid-April. I visited Kathy in Loma Linda, helping her put together a lovely velveteen comforter she had started. Her mother, Norma, needed help sewing dresses for the bridesmaids, so I spent a few days with her and Paul in Rohnert Park, California. Don and Danny arrived in time for graduation, and David received a BA degree in communications and Diane a 2-year degree. My parents attended their graduation and weddings. Our immediate family spent 6 days in Yosemite. Then David and Kathy engaged their vows at a beautiful ceremony held at the Adventist Church in Galt, California, where Paul Curtis served as pastor. Both fathers participated in the service. Lost in Tiger Country. While attending a Far Eastern Division retreat at Cayman Highlands, Malaysia, David and Diane asked permission to join a party of 6 others, including the Anhome family, for a hike in the jungle. They had a map showing the trail and planned to return to camp by 3 o'clock. When they didn't return by 5 o'clock, we went to the police, who agreed that they must have taken the wrong trail and lost their way. The wrong trail? The map showed only one, we cried. Oh no, there are 6? The map is out of date, the policeman replied. It will soon be dark. We must call in the volunteer search parties. Tigers and other wild animals abound in the jungle, and it's very dangerous for anyone to be there without any protection, especially at night. Did they take flashlights, matches, extra clothing, and food and water with them? Foolishly, they had not. What could we do except lay the matter before the Lord? We prayed for a miracle and got one. Before the search parties left with the emergency supplies they had gathered, we received word that the group had found a stream, which they were reasonably sure would lead them down from the mountain and perhaps to civilization. Diane got scratches only on her arms and hands. At many places they had to hack their way through with a parang, a long knife they had decided to take along at the last minute. They emerged from the jungle near some terraced vegetable gardens, miles away from where they had parked their car, and just as the sun set. We all knew that God answered our prayers. Never again will they be so careless. What a Thanksgiving service we had for evening worship. I remember when we were thirsty, we had to break bamboo, and it was full of drinking water. So we would drink from bamboo. Yeah, because we ran out of the water that we took. Okay, Diane Arlene, that's me. In 6th grade, Diane became well acquainted with Terrell Zukowski, who lived in the upstairs apartment in our Windsor Park home. They became bosom pals. We purchased a Yamaha piano, and Diane took piano lessons for a while. She also studied flute and joined both the cadet and academy bands. She still has her flute and plays it occasionally. I guess I haven't played it for a while, have I? I'll have to get it out. She was a happy, friendly, carefree girl who really enjoyed life in Singapore or whatever she happened to be, or wherever she happened to be. Baptism embraces. Don baptized Diane in the Ballister Road Church in March of 1966. 7 months after our arrival in Singapore, what a happy occasion. The following November, she flew to Bangkok alone so Dr. J. M. Anhome, a missionary orthodontist, could fit her with braces. We prearranged for another family to meet her and give her room, board, and supervision. She made her concerned mother proud. Dr. Anhome traveled regularly to Singapore to adjust the braces of all of his Far Eastern Academy patients. Okay, me as Academy student. Diane's 8th grade graduating class boasted 10 members, including her friend Arlene Emerson, who came up from Indonesia so they wouldn't have to graduate alone. Afterwards, Arlene and her family became part of a group traveling 18 persons who left for furlough on the same plane. We traveled together in Asia and Europe. The summer of 1970, 2 years before she graduated from Far Eastern Academy, Diane and I took an art class together with Bruce Kapitsky. Remember, we talked about Kapitsky today. We met his brother at church. But Bruce Kapitsky has passed. Bruce Kapitsky has passed away. She realized that God had blessed her with her artistic talent. Through the years, she has painted many beautiful pictures in watercolors, oils, and batik. This summer, she and I enjoyed several peaceful weeks of quality time together. Danny had accompanied his father to the GC session in Atlantic City, and David took a long trip on his way to college in the United States. As it often happens during teenage years, Diane started to pull away from me. She became a touch-me-not. A traumatic experience changed that attitude. While on a girls' club weekend on a scheduled island off the coast of Malaysia, her classmate Lucille Jacobs fell from a rocky cliff high above the beach and died before medical help arrived. The group returned to Singapore in shock. Don was away, so that first night Diane said, "Could I sleep with you tonight? I'm afraid I'll have nightmares, and I don't want to be alone." "Of course," I answered. She didn't even mind the hug I gave her. Diane told me the details of the accident. She talked and talked. We all had fun time that night before she fell. Lucille looked lonely, so my friends, this is what I'm telling you, so my friends and I invited her to join us. We shared our popcorn in the evening with her. I am so glad that we helped her to enjoy the last night of her life. Our dear daughter needed to share her feelings. I'm grateful I could be there for her. Well, thank you, Mother. Diane and her cousin Kathy Runge, whose parents served in Lebanon, joined a singing witnessing group called the Way Singers. After the 19 senior graduated from Far Eastern Academy in May of 1972, they left by bus for a witnessing tour of Malaysia and Thailand. At the end, Diane and Kathy joined us for a family vacation in Thailand and at the Fraser's Hill, Malaysia. Oh.
Yeah, I think I've been in Malaysia. The hill.
Yes, we went up there for vacation. It was wonderful. Okay, Pacific Union College. After Diane's freshman year at PUC near St. Helena, California, David and Diane both came to Singapore for the summer. They surprised us with a 25th wedding anniversary celebration, including our friends at the office. Diane earned some money that summer by making pillowcases for the division guest rooms. She took some summer school classes at Southeast Asia Union College and arranged to do some practice teaching at the Marymount Convent Preschool near the division compound.
That must have been Catholic.
Yes. The following school year, Diane graduated with a 2-year associate in a science degree in early childhood education. On July 14, 1974, she married Charles Robert Castle in the Dauphiny Chapel, connected to Winning Hall, the women's dormitory at PUC, and then worked the following year while he finished his 4-year BA degree. The next section is about Danny. Since he's not here, I'll go ahead and read it. Daniel Andrew Jr. Daniel, as the youngest, had the least adjustment to make when we arrived in Singapore. But even he didn't find it easy to fit in with the 5 already established first grade boys, super energetic and compulsive. He rubbed others the wrong way at times. Pat Guston, his teacher, had hands full but did amazingly well. You remember that?
No.
I don't like the hour-long recess outdoors, he complained. I get too hot. In the air-conditioned classroom, Dan learned quickly and enjoyed school. He soon earned the nickname of Bags for his baggy shorts, which stuck with him for 10 years. It's probably stuck with him longer than that. There might be some that still remember that. For the Christmas program that first year, Danny brought home the words of the carols his class needed to learn. He ignored my reminders to practice them, but one day when he thought he was alone, I heard him singing his heart out behind the closed door of his bedroom. He came through with flying colors, but in his own time and way.
Dan.
Yes. Here's a cute little picture of little Danny boy.
Where?
Right here. This is little grins. During this summer of 1968, Danny, age 9, along with his family, visited 22 countries in Asia and Middle East and Europe at the time of his first furlough. He especially enjoyed a tour of the salt mine in Austria. Straddling a little train on the way out, he explained, "That was fun. Let's do that again." In 1970, his father baptized him at age 11 at the Balestier Road SDA Church in Singapore. Danny's inquiring mind showed interest in electrical and mechanical pursuits. His hobbies included reading, model trains, and stamp collecting. And he used his energy in a variety of sports. He took piano lessons. I don't remember him taking piano lessons for a while and had good rhythm and timing, but hated to practice. Perhaps he already had the beginning of the nervous condition brought on by what we later discovered. Excuse me. After he stopped piano lessons, he bought a snare drum, which he played in his cadet band. Now I remember him practicing the drums. Several girls also wanted to play the drum, and he got tired of waiting for his turn, so he said, "I quit. Let them have it." Gone was my last chance to have a musician in the family. Health issues. Dan had some health problems, such as low hemoglobin, and had surgery to remove his tonsils and adenoids. At 13, he needed surgery for a diaphragmatic hernia to prevent future complications. One day, when he was recuperating, he rode his bicycle without permission and flew over the handlebars and nearly knocked out some teeth. He called me at the office, really worried, but a trip to the dentist calmed our fears. Dr. Anholm installed braces on Danny's teeth the summer after he finished 7th grade. Well, that's good. At the end of his sophomore year at Far Eastern Academy, Dan traveled with us from Singapore on Aeroflot Airlines and wrote to the General Conference session in Vienna. At the end of the weekend stop in Moscow, when Dan had been unsuccessful in delivering books to Adventist church members, Dan's heart raced wildly when a Russian man near the hotel door touched his shoulder and handed him a note asking that we meet in the nearby railroad station to deliver the books. in that way. About scared out of his wits, Dan thus had his first real taste of communist life. Yes, it was a little scary, I guess, for Dan to be in that situation. Dan worked as a page for the nominating committee at the General Conference session and learned a lot about church
As a
procedures.
page.
Yeah, I don't know. It says Dan worked as a page. I don't know. We'll have to check on that, see what that really means. Maybe it was like just taking notes or something. A very valuable experience. After his dad's election to the General Conference staff and our family vacation in Europe, we needed to fly directly to the USA to spend a little time with relatives before registering for his junior year in a new boarding academy. We changed his ticket and took him to the airport for his flight to the United States to visit both sets of grandparents before going to Blue Mountain Academy in Pennsylvania. At a layover in Frankfurt, Germany, he chose to save the money he gave him for a hotel room. He spent part of the night sleeping in a locked stall of the men's restroom after unscrewing the light bulb overhead. Dad and I took care of selling, packing, and shipping his belongings back to Maryland. His only complaint concerned the loss of his extensive collection of paperback books. We didn't send them, not realizing how important they were to him. We apologized, but that didn't get them back. His grandmother Beringer supplied him with linens and found him a ride to his new school home near Hamburg, Pennsylvania. He longed for a fan or air conditioning the first few hot days. By the time he wrote his second letter, all was right with his world. He found work assembling furniture at Harris Pine Mills, vowed to study hard, and already had friends. All three children agreed that the experience of living and studying in Singapore, associating with other missionary children and their families, and earning an MK title have had a positive influence in their lives.
What's an MK?
Missionary
kid.
Yeah, good. In addition, all three had opportunities over the period of 10 years to visit many countries of the world in addition to our home in Singapore. They tell us that it was a broadening experience which helped them establish many lasting friendships, develop greater maturity and appreciation for other cultures and peoples. And that is right. We appreciate our time there. It was wonderful. That was all of chapter 9.
Good.